I'm Claire. I landed yesterday evening. Are you okay? Yeah. So if I'm a bit slow, then excuse me, because I'm a tiny bit jet lagged, but not loads. So today I'm going to share with you a bit about Watershed, why we believe that art and technology hubs are really good places to foreground art and imagination, and how they enable us to create playful, inclusive and sustainable futures. So first I'm going to talk about the city that we're based in, Bristol. Its makeup has had a profound impact on us as an organisation, and in our turn I think our values have influenced its development. So Bristol's in the southwest of England. We're famous for creativity and innovation, and although we're a small city, we have about 130 film and television companies. We're home to the global centre of natural history filmmaking. We also have a thriving digital media industry where tech giants work alongside smaller, fast-growing startups and digital agencies. Bristol's unorthodox, rebellious and pioneering, a little bit like Seoul, I think. We generate independent voices, we value sustainability and we embrace diversity. 92 languages are spoken in Bristol. This kind of attitude shows up in the work that we make. So this is Luke Jerram's Park and Slide, which is an inflatable water slide that was installed in the middle of Bristol. It also shows up in the international artists that we're famous for, like Massive Attack and Banksy, who I think has an exhibition at the moment here by the airport. So Watershed was opened in 1982, and we were set up as the UK's first media centre. When Watershed opened, it was pretty much alone in a former industrial part of the city. Slowly over time, our dedication to the place and to the communities that we work with have turned it into a connected, bustling and alive part of the city. Watershed's vision today is based on the importance of togetherness. We believe that to address the kind of complex challenges that the world is facing, we need to develop new imaginative capacity. So the best way to do that, we think, is together. Whether it's watching a film, making a piece of art, or discussing either in the bar, togetherness is what we think makes a hopeful future possible. This is our building. We have 3 cinema screens, a cafe bar, and conference space. We're a landlord, and we run a co-working space called the Pervasive Media Studio, which I'll talk about today. We have a financial impact on the city. So last year our turnover was about £5.7 million, and we employed 110 people. We sold 116,000 tickets, worked with 24,000 young people, and we leveraged significant research funding, partnering on over £50 million of research funding in the last 4 years. We have a reputational impact on the city. Our work is followed by people across the world, and our artist community reached over 30 million people last year with their work. And we have a social impact on the city. We're a real living wage employer. We play a leadership role in new ways of working, innovating and collaborating. We openly publish our knowledge and processes so that other people can use them. And if that all sounds a bit grand, we're actually just a small cultural organisation in an old Victorian shed where the roof leaks when it rains. So this is the Pervasive Media Studio. It's a collaboration between Watershed, the University of the West of England and the University of Bristol, which we established in 2008. We support a creative community to make extraordinary and inspiring work. The studio is a place of creative collision between practice and research, making and thinking, disciplines and approaches. We offer around 180 practitioners space and access to resources and equipment at no financial cost to them. And we make research and development tangible and accessible to audiences through our public programs. I travel all around the world talking about Watershed. I'm really lucky, I know. And I've never found anywhere quite like Watershed, partly because we mix commercial and cultural organisations and individuals together, and partly because we have a really productive relationship with universities, which is quite difficult. So our residents get desk space, community engagement, business development support, access to resources, support around inclusion and climate change, profile, and most of all, a community to discuss their ideas with. We ask them to be open and generous with their ideas and with their learning. So that's a thing that we built into the contract so that everyone can benefit. So what do we actually make? So we work with people at the early stage of new ideas and companies and people who are creating multiple forms of value. So they're thinking about social, cultural and financial value of their work. This amazing picture is one of my favourites. I'm not supposed to have favourites, but it is. It's called Cargo Classroom, and it's founded by Lawrence Hu and Chaz Golding. Lawrence is a poet. He was Bristol born and bred, and he came to us in 2018 through a funded artist residency with an idea to make an exhibition that shared the triumphs of people from the African diaspora. So COVID meant that that exhibition had to be put on hold, and Cargo Classroom was born instead as an online education hub to highlight the achievements and accomplishments of people of African descent. That's really important in the UK because mostly they only teach stories about slavery, and young black kids don't get to see the leaders that look like themselves. So Cargo Classroom is now used across the world. The BBC have made a documentary about them, and FutureLearn have created a course for teachers to help give them the confidence to teach this in their own classrooms. Another example of our work is Playable City, which we started in 2012 with an annual award, which has become a kind of global movement of playful city interventions that uses technology to connect people to each other and to the city. Over the last decade, we've worked with 74 partners and 50 creatives all over the world on Playable City projects, from Lagos to Recife, Singapore to Austin, and here in Seoul. We've reached over 1 million people globally. This project here is Hello Lamppost by Pan Studio, taking place in Roppongi in Tokyo some years ago. It was our first Playable City Award winner, and they've toured the world and now have created a startup which they deliver services to governments around the world. And I'm just going to show you a video of Hello Lamppost in Singapore. In most cities around the world, street objects have numerical codes on them, and Hello Lamppost allows you to have a text message conversation with that street object using that number. It's not very smart, really, it's just a database, but it allows people to have a conversation with their city that they wouldn't have in a survey or a government form. So we've just funded 6 new Playable City commissions. We gave them £45,000 each to build a prototype, which was showcased in Bristol in July. The projects place play at the heart of the city, sparking a conversation about surveillance, inclusion, data, sustainability, and the future of cities. And I'm just going to show you a short film of them. So we hope to be touring some of those projects in the next few years. So for this talk, I wanted to have a bit of a think about how we create the conditions for innovation. And I'm going to share some of the ways that I think that Watershed makes that possible. So number one is time and space. We give artists time to think without predefining the list of deliverables, and we think that's rare and important. Every year we fund artist residency programs, and this one was from last year. Sharouk is an artist, a belly dancer, a drag performer, an engineer, and an LGBTQ refugee from Egypt. So through their residency, Sharouk explored the creation of a belly dancing robot that moves autonomously to Egyptian music, creating a choreographed duet with a machine as part of a new performance. The second is having people who care. At the heart of our model are creative producers. They enable our work, our international collaborations, and are the reason that Watershed has a really good reputation for care. Creative producing fuses engagement, creative projects, activism, technology development, business models, innovation. It's not a new concept. Producers have been present in the creative industries, especially theatre and film, for years. But support for developing the skills of a creative producer is still really rare. We believe that the creative producer has a unique skill set to connect people, institutions and places together. These roles aren't just useful, they're vital, especially if you're trying to do something new or make some kind of change. 15 years, Watershed has supported our own team of creative producers in Bristol and nurtured emerging creative producers across the UK. 7 years ago, we began an ambitious journey to create an international creative producers development programme. So building on our Playable City work, we brought together 15 incredible leaders working across art, placemaking, community engagement, corporate collaboration, urban innovation and social change, and set out to learn and make change together. The international approach has led to a hugely fruitful and crucially equitable collaborations, many initiated by British Council, and they're a network we continue to collaborate with today. And if you're interested in creative producers and the international programme, there's a whole toolkit online which is in English, I'm afraid, but you can find it on the Playable City website. Our third condition is ethical. So over the last 15 years, we've seen major changes in creative technology, from the growth of immersive to data capture, social media. We heard about the AI strike, blockchain. With these changes comes public awareness and concern about things like surveillance capitalism, data bias, exploitative growth, the environmental impact of technology. So whilst once technology represented a shiny new future, now often it's associated with fear and threats to people on the planet. We believe it's our duty to engage with these challenges. So we centre ethics, experience design and placemaking in our work. They all have a really important part to play in the drive towards social, economic and climate justice. And so for instance, this piece is from an amazing artist called Joni Lemercier. It's called Constellations, and it was part of a weekend called Layered Realities that we curated to enable the public to get a first look at 4G technologies so that they can understand its implications and what they might mean. One of the main things we think that you need for innovation is people who aren't like you. So a major driver of the Pervasive Media Studio is articulated in John C. Brown's creation nets. So they understand difference as an asset, and they say in times of rapid change, making new ideas requires collaboration with people who have different skills, culture, size, or outlook. Creation Nets accelerates innovation across participants. Not only are participants able to innovate more rapidly than they could outside these networks, the pace of the innovation accelerates the longer they participate. So for us, curating Pervasive Media Studio involves ensuring there is a balance of cultural and commercial, technology and experience design, individual and company. So when a person applies to the studio, their idea could be excellent, but if there's already lots of residents from a similar background or expertise, the time might not be right. Global connections, we've talked about this already, but it's so vital for us. So we talked a little bit about the tricky challenges that the world is facing, and we all experience them differently depending on where we live. We know that creatives benefit from being part of a globally connected collaboration and exchange, which stimulates new ideas around our shared challenges. In July 21, in the middle of COVID, we produced a set of creative labs that ran simultaneously across Lagos, Bristol and Durban. These labs and the activity around them supported 18 young creative entrepreneurs, 6 from each city, connecting them internationally. The process tested a new model of hybrid, so digital and physical labs for international collaboration, so we didn't have to fly everywhere, and went on to grow new networks and ideas. Last year, with British Council, artists Bang Lee and Art Centre Nabi, we brought together a diverse group of young artists from Bath and Seoul. Okay, tech, who knows? Okay. The project was called Gathering Moss, and it explored what a future world might look like and what it means to be a global citizen in a time of climate crisis. So one of the young artists in Gathering Moss had an ambitious idea for a film to visualize future climate scenarios by overlaying UN data onto a film, which he did with the help of a creative technologist. That film is now embedded into Watershed's own carbon training, and he's gone on to make a film for National Geographic. The sick condition for innovation is inclusive. I feel a bit like a game show host. I haven't done a list like this before. So our values sit at the heart of everything we do, and we invest significant resource in addressing organisational inclusion and developing industry-leading methodologies for recruitment to make sure that our staff and our organisation is diverse. We employ a full-time inclusion producer to work across our collaborative projects, ensuring that the governance is appropriate, that opportunities are well designed for everyone, and that we're supporting diverse participation. One example of a really brilliant diverse project we funded recently is the House of Weaving Songs, created by Fozia Ismail and Ayan Kimli, who are called Dakhan Collective. So inspired by a Somali-style nomadic structure called the Akal, this interactive installation was co-created with Somali communities. Integrating Somali weaving songs with woven tapestries and smart fabrics in an experiment to connect the city to cultural practices that might inspire us to tackle climate change. Talking of which, being climate aware. In 2019, Watershed declared a climate emergency. We formed an environmental group made from our own staff, which led to a carbon reduction plan and a way of considering sustainability across every area of our own business. So at the start of 21, we appointed Zoe Raspash as an environmental emergencies action researcher. And Zoe has created the Creative Climate Action Toolkit, specifically designed to support small creative businesses, organisations, collective and freelancers to take action on climate. Lots of climate resources are aimed at large companies. This toolkit is an online tool designed to combat the overwhelm that we feel when we think about the climate crisis. We think artists need business support, but it's important that we help the creatives we work with to grow their business in a way that feels appropriate. Artists do want to make money and be sustainable, but the models that hothouse media startups are not appropriate for them. An exit strategy is not the only thing that an artist cares about. Our business programs support both the commercial and the creative. We support early stage ideas and we help them to become sustainable. So I have a short video of a product that started in the studio and with a tiny bit of money went on to become globally stocked and then bought by Niantic. So Beasts of Balance was created by artists and was the world's first internet-connected board game. It was invested in as part of a project called Play Sandbox, where children aged 8 to 12 made our investment decisions. They made really good decisions. We think it's important we understand ourselves as an ecosystem. So this is the Bacana two-loop system, which shows how ecologies build up and die off over time. The dominant system in blue grows and then dies. The emergent system in red emerges and flourishes. So one of the main things that we've learned as a funding and supporting agency is that it takes many people to make a successful idea, company or product. If all you care about is getting your logo, the largest, on the flyer, then you're probably in the wrong game. So we think of ourselves as working in an ecology, and ecologies need both lions and mice. They thrive when there's abundance and generosity rather than scarcity and control. So we fund early stage blue sky ideas that probably wouldn't get funded by anyone else. But we're not the right people to scale something. That requires a different kind of support. But it's best for the artists and the creatives that we work with that we collaborate and are joined up. So that means that our job is to identify and champion pioneers, forge and nourish the networks of the creative ecology. It's also to assist things to die. As creatives, we can be really bad at stopping things, but as hubs, we can participate in hospicing or helping things to die, and composting, taking the bits of the system that really work, that are rich in nutrients, and helping them move into the new emergent systems. Finally, we believe in the importance of hope. This is a question, a quotation by Rebecca Solnit, and it says, "To hope is to give yourself to the future, and that commitment to the future is what makes the present inhabitable." So we believe that art and technology together can offer new opportunities for expression and experience, and that investing in play, wonder, joy and discovery can influence the world for better. So finally, what next for Watershed? One of our major projects at the moment is My World. It's a collaborative creative technology programme funded by £30 million worth of UK government funding. Led by the University of Bristol, who are responsible for the terrible name. My World is, don't tell him, we'll have to cut that. My World is built on the production, technology and research strengths of Bristol. So Watershed is one of 13 partners, and we're responsible for public engagement and early stage funding. Our next funding rounds will launch next month with a theme of more than human AI. So right now, obviously, opinion around AI or artificial intelligence is polarised. We think there are new forms of expression and accessibility that can be found in AI, but only if makers come together to grapple with what it is and how we use it. So we're going to fund 6 partners to develop new AI products, services and experiences that are in collaboration with the natural world, so that they're more than human AI. So what will get made, we don't know, but we do know that there's a world full of networks of intelligence that we still don't fully understand. And we're excited by artists and technologists drawing on non-Western, indigenous and animistic understandings of human and nature relationships. We're also about to open a new small immersive gallery aimed at making immersive work accessible to the widest possible audiences. So in the UK, most of the immersive and VR work that gets made is only shown at festivals. So we want to create bridges between artists and audiences to forge criticality and to encourage uptake. We will curate thematically across our cinema programme and the immersive gallery, and we're really hoping for an international programme, so we'd love you to get in touch if you think you might have work for it. I think you're going to hear a little bit more from some residents of Pervasive Media Studio now, but if you happen to be in Bristol or you want to visit the UK, please get in touch. and thank you very much for having me.